Hello everyone, we are day 4 of the fuel injection slash list of things I was waiting to get around to do. Today I have got the materials to make the black high pressure hoses. We have a vast assortment of high priced fittings. The kit came with rubber hose and clamps, which would work great, but they wouldn't look cool. So here I am, putting together things to make it look cool. So we'll start the process and see how it goes. And this is the normal AN fitting process. I got a little plastic vise here with nice soft jaws to keep from scratching the anodized aluminum. And it sometimes works, sometimes don't. In this case, I ended up having to go back to the steel vise that I made some aluminum inserts to put on. And you just get the hose and cram her in there until it gets up flush, and then screw the fitting in. I've taken a little bit of tape on the wrench that I used to also help keep from marring it. And you just get her in there and screw it together, and I hold some upward pressure on the hose to keep it from backing out. And I also put a little mark on the hose so I can tell if it's moved. And that's it. And at the end, if at all possible, I try to clock the sides of the nut with the sides of the plastic sleeve, and it makes it look nice and pretty. And next step is to measure for length, and the instructions call to leave a little bit of slack so there's kind of a bend in it so that there's not tension on the fitting or the part the fitting bolts into. And we'll take her back to the bench and cut her up. This is a nylon plastic coating over stainless steel over the rubber material on the inside, and you have to wrap it with something to keep both the outer covering and the steel inner liner from fraying. It tends to get sticky and you poke your finger. This gives me a chance to use my newest favorite tool, so Harbor Freight battery operated cutoff wheel, and we'll cut it off as square as we can. Screw her into the fittings. And here I take this silver magic marker and put a little dot so that I have a reference whether or not the fitting has backed out or not. It's WD-40, screw it in until it's flush. Wasn't flush. Kind of trim the electrical tape that was still on it. And same procedure. Take the wrench, screw her down, line up the flat surfaces, and then I take it over off camera and blow it out real good and shoot some brake clean in it and blow it out real good to make sure there's no debris left that will get into the fuel injection. And here we go, no time at all. Nice little AN fitted fuel line for the high pressure side of the system. Time to install the distributor. And in this case, I actually had something happen that hardly ever happens. The oil pump shaft almost always makes a little rotation when you pull the distributor out, and it never seats completely down. You have to kind of get it where it needs to go, then spin the motor around and it falls into place. but in this case it actually fell right in. In fact, it fell right in twice. As I stuck it in, I put the vacuum advance where I could see where it was real good, but unfortunately it's not where it went, and I had to lift it back up to get it past the intake runner, and it fell right back in the hole too. Sometimes it's just your lucky day. And since this is the air gap manifold, there's a room to slide the wiring connection for the electric water pump underneath the manifold, or between the manifold and the bottom, to keep it out of sight and nice and tidy. And we're fitting the throttle body assembly for the first time on it. See how things do. Turns out it does match the Holley carburetor quite a bit, even in height. I put the air cleaner on it and the hood doesn't hit any worse than it did with the old one. And trying to see just what little things will pop up. So on the carburetor I had a throttle stop, so that if you push real hard it hits the stop instead of trying to twist the blades off in the carburetor. And I tried and tried and tried, and the Holley will not let me do that, so I'll have to be more tedious on setting up the length of the throttle cable so that on a wide open throttle it doesn't pull too hard and try to twist the shaft for the throttle plates. So that's it for this video. Once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on day 5.